Welcome in. This is Julie Maxon, the Maine Stamper. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, and I'm here for your Monday with the Maine Stamper. We are going to do an online live card class. Now, this is being shown on my Maine Stamper Facebook page. This is where I do my live class, but then after the class is over, I transfer that video over to my YouTube channel, also called the Maine Stamper. So hello friends on YouTube, thank you for finding me and watching. I really appreciate every time you comment, you like, you share. It means so much to me. And I'd love to know where you're watching from and a little bit maybe about your weather. I find that weather across the country right now is always fascinating because we are still in wintertime here in Maine, although it did hit probably like 40 degrees today and it felt like spring. It was wonderful. The sun was shining. We saw plenty of snow on the ground, but the roads are clear and that is my favorite. Of course, if you saw last week's card class, we talked about the Sweet Bugs bundle and I talked about how much I love this time of year when the bugs are frozen under the ground. Regardless, the class was adorable, but I think there was a lot of interest in whether or not people enjoyed the bugs, right? So real live bugs, maybe not so much. Cute little stamped bugs were awesome. So I'm just checking to make sure that I'm live and that you guys can see and hear me. So please let me know when you do see or hear me. I'm just refreshing my laptop. So I'm going to just chit chat for a second and we are going to see, hi Tammy, I see Tammy and Patty. Oh, my Maine girls are here. Thank you guys so much, my teamies. That's awesome. Thank you for saying hello. All right, so we are, obviously all three of us had the same weather today. We're like within miles of each other. That's awesome. Anyway, so we're going to do a really great class tonight. And if you were at my in-person card class on Saturday, you're going to think these cards look a little bit familiar. So I'm basically using similar card layouts, for the most part similar colors and design, and I'm changing it up to be a little bit more creative. We're actually using the Creative Haven bundle, and there's a little bit of controversy about that. I think there's some controversy. I've heard some chit chat about it. So we're going to talk a little bit about the Creative Haven bundle, what I love, and what I could do without, right? Because I'm always honest with my opinion on product, but I'm going to tell you right now, get the dies. The dies are amazing. I love them. And you're going to be really interested to see how I've changed up the cards. And of course, if you haven't seen the cards yet, this is going to be great too, because maybe you want to see the cards. Hi, Carol. Hi, Anne. Oh my gosh, I've got a couple more friends popping on. So while I'm going on with the class, I tend to not look at the comments, but I'd love to see them later on. So please continue to leave them for me to read. Entertain me later, because I'm going to be up late anyway. So let me have something to read. Tell me some stories. I'm telling you guys stories while I'm crafting, so you guys can tell me stories too. All right, so let me see if I can switch over to my workspace here and get us all set up for this class. And I think we're going to be good. All right, I got to change my camera angle slightly this way. How does that look? Does that look okay? I never know if you guys can see my next camera on the other end over here. Okay, I think I'm good there. And we're going to do this. Okay, so let's talk a couple of quick announcements while more people are jumping on and finding this live. Product of the month is... it's been going on for 3 months now. So I believe that the December and January product of the month are still available if you haven't gotten them yet. When you spend $75, you have to add this a $5 item to your cart. So you can only get one of them ever, like forever and ever. So if you already got this paper and you already have the January stamp set, highly recommend that one. Fabulous Sayings is really fabulous. I use it all the time. And then there's some December paper as well. So check out the product of the month when you hit $75. Now this is, of course, after your coupons have been applied. It's because you're using your bonus coupons, right? You got to be using those up by the end of February. Stampin' Up! Still has their exclusive join offer. This is the Stampin' Positioner. If you saw last week's class, I shared what I mean, I love the Stampin' Positioner. I didn't think that I would, but I do. Honest opinion, right? Like I have the Misty. I have two of them. I have Stamparatus. And I got the Stampin' Positioner to check it out, and I did really, really love it. And my in-person class got to play with this too. So Stampin' Positioner is free to you when you join in the month of February. Actually, you have until March 2nd. It's like a $50 value. You also get to pick out $125 in any product for your kit. You pay $99, free shipping, you're on my team, you get all my recipes, we hang out once a month by Zoom. It's a great deal. So think about joining Stampin' Up! For the discount, because most people do join for the discount. and it's a good discount. Do you want a sale on everything? Yes, yes, you do. Okay, Creative Haven. Here is what we're doing tonight. So this is the stamp set. Now the stamp set is very specific. You can see here that these images, these three at the bottom, are going to work with dies, right? They're like shaped like a banner, an oval, and an arch. So they work very specifically with the dies that go with this set. Of course, you can use them individually as well. You could fussy cut these if you want to. They are maybe sentiments you're not going to use a lot. I totally understand that. You've got this. Deep breath. Friends like you are golden. You're the best. So happy to have you in my life, and you deserve all the good things. Actually, this one is my favorite in stamp sentiment in this set. You deserve all the good things, because I really like the little font on that one. That's my favorite one. And then we've got some little stars over here. Now, each of these images here that have the words, the sentences, they're decorative, right? There's some ivy, there's some flowers, there's leaves. It's very fancy. And it's very filling, right? So it's not just words. It's not just a sentiment like we're used to. So this may not be your cup of tea, and I totally understand that. You don't have to get a bundle just because they offer a bundle. If you don't want the stamps, then you don't have to get them. Just going to tell you right now. Just say no. But get the dies, because I love the dies so much. These dies, I love them so much I would probably get 2 sets of these, to be honest, because I like to crank out more than one at a time when I'm going working on projects and such. So you've got your banner, your oval, you've got 2 tag dies, you've got your arch, you've got little dies here that are going to work inside these dies to make even more tags. And of course, the leafy, ferny things are my favorite things to put on cards. I layer them in all the time, and I'm actually using these leafy, ferny things. I'm going to call them leaves for the class. Sake of the class, these are leaves. I use them on every card, and more than once. So this is my favorite as well. But I love the basic shapes. The basic shapes are amazing. Here are my die cuts, just so you can see kind of like what they look like. I put this black and white. I usually change up the colors from when I'm making these little sheets, but I felt like this is such a basic that it needed to be on black and white, like black cardstock, white images, right? So your banner, your 2 little tags, you can see the holes. These die cut with the holes. Now these 3 do not have holes in them, but they could if you wanted to. So there is the longer rectangular die that has, one has a hole and one has this little like a, what would we want to call that? We'll call it a loop, because Julie's mind isn't thinking right now. But the little loop or the hole can fit on this banner, and it could create a tag out of that. So you would do that with those longer ones. Now there's also arch looking little dies right here, so you could make your oval or your arch. You could make these into tags as well. So if you're thinking, wow, I could make Christmas tags, I could make birthday gift tags, I could make, you know, like tags galore, right? You definitely could. You could make these. All you need really even is designer series paper. I'm sure we all have plenty of that, right? Make some pretty tags for people. So this is what the dies look like. Of course, there's these cute little leaves, as mentioned earlier. So the dies are amazing. Stamp set works, right? It works if it works for you. I'm going to be using it exclusively tonight to just really show you what you could do with it if you're interested. Now the Creative Haven bundle's been out for a bit. It came out in the November online exclusives, and I have my little booklet here, which has all the online exclusives in it. It's probably a terrible glare because they're in these little clear sleeves, but I make myself a little booklet. So the Creative Haven, it's called Hobby Havenl Suite. It has paper. It has an embellishment. It has the ribbon. If you're loving all of these things, get the suite. The suite is $77.50, and the bundle is only $44 even. It's not an expensive bundle, for sure. So there are some really awesome matte dots. These are called earthy matte dots. There's some brown, Lost Lagoon, kind of almost Cajun craze, but leaning a little bit toward kind of a reddish color, a little bit darker than Cajun Craze. I love this ribbon. It's like a garden green chevron ribbon. It's a thin ribbon, which is really nice. This is part of the suite, so I'm just sharing what these things look like. And then we've got the Creative Haven paper. So if you're a hobby person, it's all about hobbies. You've got reading. I'm going to show you front and back pages real quick. We have some girly girl spa type things here. I love this one. I like the backside papers myself. Here is the cooking hobby. Love the green one, by the way. This is a kind of a plants, maybe reading nook comfy, cozy relaxation. Love this one too. So the back side is really awesome paper in case you're like, I don't know, the hobby stuff is kind of busy for me. I totally understand that. This one is for sewing, which is really cool. And then again, the back side of that. And then there are 2 sheets of ephemera. Now the ephemera are just going to pop out. You're going to have all of your little hobby type things in here. You get 2 sheets of this in with this designer series paper. So I just wanted to share with you kind of a little bit about what the Hobby Havenl collection is, in case you hadn't seen it, because the reality is all of these online exclusives, they get lost in the shuffle, I feel like. So that is my little booklet for that. And I'll set that down there. Okay, hey, here we are at our class. Thanks for joining me for class. Creative Haven card class. When you order $50 this week, and this is after your coupons, before tax and shipping, you're getting the card class for free. It's coming to you in the mail as a thank you gift. You're getting 4 card kits this week. So here they are. If you were at my in-person class, you're going to be like, oh, yep, we made this card. We made this card. We made this card. But maybe we didn't make this card. This is my do-over card. And I can't wait to share the whole set of cards and then the new cards. It's real. I love to take these and change them up. And it's just my way to show you that no matter what you're working with, you can do the same at home. Take a design that you like, change your colors, change your themes, change up with whatever, swap in whatever product you have, and then you're going to have a really great card. I know you can do this at home too. So hi, C. Michelle. Hi, Maisie. I'm just looking to see here real quick. What else we got going on here just before I get going? Okay, there we go. Okay, so back to this. Squirrel. Okay, the class kit contains your card bases, your envelopes, your dry emboss pieces, die cut pieces that are not part of the featured bundle. And I always add an extra so that even if you don't get this featured bundle, there's some die cuts in there that you can use to create with. I like you to have something fun to play with when you get this at home. If you spend $75 with me this week, you're going to get a free mystery embellishment. And the mystery is seriously a mystery because I haven't even picked them out yet. I always have lots of extras on hand. So I will be tucking in an embellishment into your card kit when you go up to 75. Now, there's kind of a reason I'm doing this, especially this week. I feel like there's a possibility there could be something coming. Stampin' Up! Likes to surprise everyone with some ordering specials, and I feel like we're due. I feel like it could be the end of this week. So with that in my thought process, if they do some kind of a special, it's usually a $75 ordering special, and then I want you to have something even extra above and beyond that. So I don't know for sure. Again, they don't tell demonstrators when these special days are coming, but I feel like we're due, and I'm just going with, let's do something extra if you go up to 75. And of course, you earn stamping rewards. This class is good through Saturday the 21st. Your kits will mail next week, approximately Tuesday, to you. And there we have it. Now, please remember, questions, ask them. I love to answer all your questions. We're going to start out with something pink. This is a very pink card, and we're going to talk a little bit about the retiring end colors. I think I need to move my chair back. Ugh, it's squishing me today. Okay, retiring end colors are a thing. So Pretty in Pink, this beautiful pink, is going away very soon. It's really making me sad. Strawberry Slush is also an end color. That one's going to stay around for another year. So Stampin' Up! Has end colors 2 years running, and then they retire them, and then they bring in 5 new colors, which is exciting because we're almost due for 5 new colors. Meanwhile, we're going to miss some of our favorites. This one is a Pretty in Pink base, and I have mine scored and ready to go, so I'm going to set this one aside. I'm going to try to not reach over top of everything all day long today. Okay, so you may recognize this paper. Isn't it pretty and florally? It's got little white flowers on it. There is an orientation to this. Just pay attention to that when you get it. And you might see that it is from the Valentine pack, Made with Love. I like to use the Valentine pack way past Valentine's Day. You're getting some beautifully celebrated dies. You're getting some Greenery Lane die cuts as well, because I love adding the greens. And now this is Pool Party, so I want you to see Pool Party. And this one right here is another retiring in color. This one is Summer Splash. It looks like Coastal Cabana, but it is not. It's actually Summer Splash. So you've got a little bit of, kind of the pinks and the greens going on here. I love these colors together, and if you do too, jot these down. Look how fun this looks. It's very springy. Strawberry Slush, Pretty in Pink, Pool Party, Summer Splash. Those are the colors we're going to be using. We've got some white here as well, and we're going to start putting this kit together. But maybe I should show you the first first card first. Let's look at the card we did on Saturday. So on Saturday, I used the Simply Beautiful Loving the Big Flower. This is not the card we're making tonight. This was the card we made at my in-person class on Saturday. I just want you to get an idea of what we made before we make our card tonight with Creative Haven, because we're swapping this in for this. Okay, so stay tuned because this is really cool. But first, let's just put the bones together real quick, because I always feel like we can get some of that done before you see the card. Now, this is the Family Color DSP. I call it Family Color. It is the In Colors because it is Summer Splash. There are 2 patterns, so you can choose which pattern you want to be facing up. Here I have the floral print facing up, and on my sample card, which I haven't shared with you yet, I also have floral facing up. So I think I'll put this one up this time, just so we have like a comparison. So we've got a little piece of Summer Splash here. We're going to put this on here, and I gotta look to see how far my camera is this way today so that you can see what I'm doing and I'm not doing some mystery things off camera. Okay, so we're just making a nice little arrangement of beautiful colors together. And we're gonna put this onto our card base, right about down this way. Now there's no right or wrong. If you prefer to have it up a little bit higher, you can go for it, right? But we've got it just about right there. We're gonna go ahead and glue this on now. I'm not recommending this side. This is more of a flirty flamingo color, and I really like the light pink, the pretty and pink color, plus the flowers. The little flower print on here is just so sweet. We're going to bring this over here and hope that I have some dimensionals besides scraps, and more scraps in here. Oh my goodness. All right, hold please. I might bump the camera just a second. Yeah, I'm going to bump the camera a second. Sorry, everybody. Don't mean to make you seasick. Okay. Dimensional emergency. It's a good thing I have class that I can break every time I need dimensionals. At least mostly every time. There have been times when I've been out, and that's a sad state of affairs. Okay, we'll put those over there. Here we go. Back to our card making. Here we go. Dimensionals on the back of this one. We're going to pop this layer up for fun, and we're gonna go with like that many. That's how many I'm going with. In the comments, please let me know, do you like to use a lot of dimensionals or a little dimensional? Like, are you stingy with them, or do you just make sure that your surface is really, really covered? Tell me what you think in the comments. I want to read lot or little. We're going to make sure that our flowers are facing up when we put this on our card base, and we're going to center this just like this. So here's really the bones of our kit. And from here, you have some really great pieces as well. Move those over that we're going to work with. So you could continue to make something very pretty with this, even without doing the Hobby Haven thing. So here's some greens. You got some pretty greens here. And then what else we have here? We still have some more paper right here, which you can see. So let me grab the card so we can see what we're doing here with our deep breath. So this one says deep breath. You can see that this is the Hobby Haven stamp right here. And then we're using the oval die cut for this one as well. And of course, I mentioned that we're putting those little sprigs, those little leaves in everywhere. We are definitely putting them in. So hopefully you can see here, they're very similar. I did, instead of just the white back celebrated die, I put the strawberry slush one in because this oval is so much smaller, and I wanted this, the spacing to still be similar. Right? I didn't want to shrink down the ovals just because this one was so tiny. So I filled it in. I chose to fill instead. So as you're doing these kinds of cards, if you're designing yourself, you can think about those things as well. Now you're getting some greenery dies. These are just going to go on. This is Pool Party, but we don't just put them on ever, right? If you know me, you know that I love to sponge everything. So let's grab out some Pool Party ink. The fingers are about to get inky. That is a good thing. That one says Summer Splash. I'm going to grab my little plastic Dixie cups here with my daubers, and I'm just going to put a little bit of ink on the tips of these. The little center of that one popped up at me. And it's okay to use your fingers as the background of that. That's perfectly fine. My fingers are always pretty inky and messy. So is my craft room, by the way. Like, it's a sign of a creative mind. If you have inky fingers and a messy craft room, you're a very creative person, and I like you. All right, there's our Pool Party. We're going to move on to Let's see, what are we going to move on to next? We're going to talk about what you need to do to create the same card that I have right here. Let's move this one out of the way because we're done with that one. We're not even playing with that one anymore. So you have two pieces of white that are, I'm sorry, you have, yes, you have two pieces of white right here, and you have a piece of the Summer Splash. Now you're going to take your dies, if you're playing along at home and you get this set, right? You're going to go ahead and die cut your leaves in white, just like this. And then you're going to repeat with the Summer Splash. So I'm giving you plenty of room here so you can get those on there. Your oval is going to go on this one, and that's going to be your sentiment piece right here. And that's all you need. Simple and easy, right? So we're going to talk about how we're going to get some cool stamping on this, because hopefully you can see, I'm going to lift this up for a second, some really cool extra stamping. So let's grab out Deep Breath. Everybody take a nice deep breath. Here's our deep breath. We're going to stamp on the oval in Pretty in Pink. So the oval piece that we're doing is this one right down here. So deep breath right on here. We're going to die cut it with the oval die. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to look something like this when we're all said and done. Here is our deep breath. I know it's really light, so that the lighting may not show that the best, but there we go. So we're going to pretend we did that already. And I'm put my dies back over here so we don't lose them. We're going to pretend we did this too because I did them earlier. I always try to do as much as I can early on so that it's not super crazy. So here's all of our cute little leaves. And is there anything else that I need right now? No. So now we're going to create this beautiful, beautifully celebrated die. It's going to be just way more beautiful than it is right now. So we're going to grab out our Strawberry Slush ink pad. Good thing it was closed. Did you guys see that? Disaster strikes. All right, so Strawberry Slush. We're using the same deep breath. I'm not even going to clean it because I just used it in Pretty in Pink. I'm going to a darker ink color, and I'm okay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and focus on the top of this flowery image. And I'm going to put this just like so. You guys can see it really good right now. Now I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to do this actually. Lying, just kidding. Don't rotate. Keep it the same. We're gonna focus on the bottom though now. So the bottom's gonna come down here, and you're gonna be overstamping in the middle, and it's okay. Overstamp the middle. We're gonna cover it up. Okay. So now we have bottom prettiness and top prettiness. And if you need that visual right now, because you're like, whoa, this is gonna go on, and you're just gonna see that peak of ink on either side. Now here's where it gets really fancy. Now I want you to turn it sideways, and the stamp is going to go kind of like facing up and down, but you're focusing on the like the rounded edges here and the rounded spots of your. So now it's really messy in the middle. It looks like you messed everything up, but you really didn't, because what we're going to do is we're going to cover this up, and we're just going to have the outline of those swirls all around our oval. And isn't that pretty? I thought that was so fancy. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring in a dauber. My not labeled yet dauber. I have one for each color. It makes it super easy. And we're just going to darken down the edges here as well of our beautifully celebrated Strawberry Slush die cut. Now, this comes in your kit, so if you want to do something different with it, you sure can. But there it is, just like that. And we're going to adhere all of these pieces together. They're going to go on our card, and that part is done. So now we're just looking at Summer Splash, retiring in color. And we're going to go ahead and bring in our Summer Splash dauber, and we're going to, again, add a little bit of ink just to these, the Summer Splash die cuts, just on the tops of them, just a little bit. Makes them pop a little bit, makes them look not so flat. Okay, so there we go. We've added some pretty color onto that. We're all done with that. And now we're just on to final assembly, and this card will be done. So these cards are really pretty simple, and it's really because we're just adding some elements, and we're adding some simple stamping. Now I'm going to show you how I'm going to go ahead and put these on here, because I love to like kind of flower arrange. I'm a floral arranger, a paper florist arranger. So I'm going to put my bigger ones down first. These are the Pool Party Greenery Lane die cuts. Whoa, that's a mouthful. I'm going to go ahead and figure out kind of how I want these to go in here. So I'm just going to lay them in there, make them look really pretty. I'm going to come down here and kind of do the same thing. I'm going to add these guys down here. Now again, they shouldn't always look the same. Just keep them on, you know, the edges tucked into your card base. This is where tear and tape is your friend. Love tear and tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I can kind of see where I have all 3 stems perhaps, and I am just taping these guys down here. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm not gluing them individually because that takes a bit of time, and they all have to come back off, and then they all have to get glued back on. The only one I'm not so sure about is this guy right here. Yeah, he's not super secured yet. But when I put this die cut over top, first of all, this one needs to come down a little bit. And so we're going to lift this up, and we're going to do our best to sneak it out of here a little bit if we can. And if that's not a thing, it's going to be a thing. Come on, buddy. Come on out. We're going to add some more tape. We're going to lower this one down. I should have kind of done a dry fit first, but hopefully you're getting the idea. This is live card making. So we're kind of doing this as best we can with what we got, right? So I kind of like this. I think we're good there. Sometimes I might add a little bit of glue here to like a leaf or so, just to secure it, because this one didn't get much tape. But everything else is pretty good. I'm gonna put this guy down right here. And it's secured. We're good. So the next thing we need to do is we need to take all this tear and tape off. This is sticky underneath. The waxy coating on top is going to detract the dimensionals that we're going to use to put our labels down. So we need to remove this, or our next set of dimensionals won't stick to what we got going on here. So here we go. See, it's on there. Like magic, right? And that is my super quick shortcut to adding a whole bunch of leaves and flowers and sprigs, things that I love to do, but just kind of quick and easy too, right? So we're going to go ahead and put our little beautiful dies together here. We're going to cover up that messy stamping we did earlier with this one right here, the Deep Breath and Pretty in Pink. We're going to just make sure we're centering it so we can see those little swirlies that we worked so hard to make. I mean, I think that's so pretty. I really like this. Hopefully you guys think that's pretty too. All right, dimensional time. I'm looking at some, okay, not stingy people. That's awesome. I see somebody on here from Tennessee. Looks like Barbara. That's awesome. Thank you for joining in. Okay, so I don't know. Do we need another one in the middle? Maybe we do. Let's go with one more in the middle. And then we're going to pop this on here. Now this could obviously, I'm using the stamps in the images. My original card on Saturday for our class, this was a very beautiful feminine birthday card, which I adored. So if you're not using Deep Breath, make this a birthday card, or make this whatever you want it to be. But it does have some really pretty colors in it. I feel like that green is a really good spa color green. And we're going to bring in pearlized faceted circles is the embellishment that I'm going to use. Now these come in kind of more of a calypso coral tone. You can see here, hopefully it's showing up calypso, and we've got very much pink here, but there are some that are a little bit more iridescent and light in color. They're almost like a light pink. So I'm using the lightest color ones, kind of that white shimmery iridescent, and we're just going to put some of these on here. Now this is a card that would look really nice with a white embellishment as well. Something very delicate and pearly. And there we go. Card number 1 is done. Here's our Deep Breath card. We got some really great greens and pinks on there. I happen to love green and pink together. And this again was our original, kind of our sample card that I was working off of. This was the card we made it in-person class. Again, you can see the white embellishments on this one. So the white embellishments are going to look really pretty. And if you have a big flower at home that you'd prefer to put onto this card, you're going to see here how nice that big flower is going to look, and you can put your greens in there, and it's going to be absolutely stunning and gorgeous. So card number 1 is done. There we go. And for everybody that didn't see the in-person cards yet, this is a great peek for you to check them all out. I didn't share them on purpose because I knew I was going to be bringing them to class. So now we're going to go gray. We're going to go a little bit more masculine. We started out with a very feminine card, and I like to kind of go in the opposite direction, especially when I'm doing an in-person class. I tried to cover a lot of different themes within 4 short cards. So we had a feminine card. This is our masculine card. And that way everybody that comes is going to go home with something that should be useful to them. That is my goal, because when we're making our cards, besides making something that's really pretty, which is, of course, like my favorite thing to do. It also should be useful. It should be something that you need to send out because someone needs to have that card from you. So this one was originally a masculine birthday card in the card class that I had on Saturday. And because we're using Creative Haven now, we're going in a little bit of a different direction. None of these cards say happy birthday to my favorite man in the whole world. So we're kind of working with what we've got here. Of course, you can swap in different things if you prefer. I love this combination of colors. So I did change it up a little bit from my original in case you were in class. You might be like, some of these look a little different. This is birch wood 3D emboss piece, basic gray, right? So here is some Thoughtful Journey DSP, really pretty. The other side also will work. Love these colors together. We've got some crushed curry. We also have some Darling Duckling. We've got some Coastal Cabana. You're like, what? And then Cajun Craze. Now, if you're hanging out with me here a little bit, you're going to see where I'm pulling some of these colors from, right? I take the designer series paper. I'm like, okay, we've got a little coastal down here. We definitely got some of these oranges and we've got some yellows going on. Of course, we've also got another piece right here. So this makes up your kit and you're getting a whole bunch of linen thread. No, make that baker's twine. This is actually baker's twine. This is the gray. This is from the Baker's Twine Essential Pack. You're getting, I think this is 16 inches. And what you're going to do is fold it in half, cut it like that. Now you've got two 8-inch pieces and you're going to make a bow with this. So I didn't make one ahead. My fingers are extra messy because, side note, I had a pen explode on me in my craft room tonight, which was very unusual. And so this black ink on my hands is actually from a pen and not like my favorite kind of ink. But here it is. Now this is really curly. It's cute. I love how it kind of just curls up naturally. It's not like you even have to try hard to make that look really cool. Okay, let's take a look at my original card. Now, my original card from Saturday is going to use a different designer series pattern, but the same paper pack. So this one we made as a masculine birthday card, and we use, again, same kind of paper. So hopefully you see here the background paper. Very similar in nature. It's called Thoughtful Journey. It is in the annual catalog. It's a 6x6 pack. It's gorgeous. If you don't have that one yet, that's a beautiful one to get. And then the back side is just really pretty as well. So there's lots of really great colors in this pack. We use the birch tree here for our birthday card. And this was let's try to recreate this a little bit. So the first thing we're going to do is bring in a messy mat because we're going to do some sponging here on this. And we're going to talk a little bit about our ink colors for this card. So here we're going with a nice color palette as well. We've got Cajun Craze, Crushed Curry, Basic Gray, and Coastal Cabana. Obviously masculine in color. And if you have a hard time picking up masculine colors and all you go is like blue and gray or brown and more brown, right? There's a lot of colors you can use in a masculine card that are going to make it bright and popping, like the Cajun and the curry. And Coastal Cabana is also kind of a surprise color, maybe not an expected color. And I feel like sometimes when we throw an unexpected color in, it really it turns it like into a wow situation. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our blending brush and we're going to darken down. And I just re-inked this ink pad, so it's going to be kind of dark. The ink is going to come on here and it's going to look pretty heavy. So we're going to just go ahead and do that. And I like adding the ink to an emboss piece because it really brings out the embossing. It makes those highs and lows on the emboss piece look so amazing. Love it. Now, my secret trick here, and I haven't shown you the card we're making yet, but I'm going to grab that out in just a second. My secret trick here is when we put this on our card base, and we're going to lighten this up just a little bit by bringing in a strip of paper. So on my original card, we just use cardstock, but on this card, I'm using designer series paper. And instead of putting this down randomly and then trying to line this up, we're going to do it a little bit differently, but I'm thinking I might switch it. Yeah, I'm going to switch it. I'm switching it from my original. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the glue on. This is facing up. This is the side I'm going to show on my card. I'm going to actually just put a very thin line of glue on the edge here of the designer paper. I might actually turn it this way toward me. Sometimes I feel like it's easier this way. And I'm taking the edge of my embossed cardstock and I'm going to line this up right like this. Okay, so now it's meant to be a little bit shorter than the length, right? So we're adding some interest to the card by creating different size pieces of paper. If everything was the same size, it would be like a book. You're making a book, but we're making cards. So we want different sizes on here, right? So we're gonna go ahead and add some adhesive here to the back side. So now that it's one piece, it's a lot easier to decide on the card base how far you want it to go over. Rather than trying to decide where two pieces go, you can put it on in just one kind of unit, right? And your designer series paper is behind here on this little edge. And here's your embossed piece, and it's so pretty. We're gonna bring this one in too. Now, of course, we could flip this as well, but we're not going to. We're not going to do that. We're gonna put this down just like this. We're gonna have this pretty kind of bright and vibrant paper coming up this way. So you can see from my Saturday class card, it's very similar right here. And this is probably where the similarities are going to stop. So let me bring this one in, and I'm going to show you that friends like you are golden. So I took advantage of some yellow papers here to kind of mimic our sentiment, which says friends like you are golden, because I wanted that kind of that golden sunshiny vibe feeling from the designer series paper to work with my sentiment. And I feel like if you have a sentiment that's hard to work with, that's the key right there, is to find some common ground items that will work really well with the same words that are being said, right? All right, this is Coastal Cabana, and we're going to go ahead and nope, we're bringing in one of these guys, Coastal Cabana. So sometimes I'm using my daubers, sometimes I'm using my blending brushes. The reason I use a blending brush over a dauber is usually the size of what I'm trying to do. So if it's a larger piece like this nested essential die, which comes in your kit, I will sometimes just grab out the blending brush because it's quicker than using the dauber. But if it's a small piece, I'll probably be using a dauber because there's more control that way too. So here we go. We're going to put this, it's going to fit across your card base, and it's going to almost overlap. Actually, it does overlap just slightly here because it's such a big piece. It will still fit in your envelope, but it is that little bit of blue, kind of we're bringing this up from the bottom right into our card as well. Let's talk a little bit about the rest of the papers that are in your kit here and what you're going to do with all of these. So you have, again, this white and this yellow, same size papers in your kit. And then you have Cajun and more yellow. So crushed curry, darling duckling. So this is kind of like, if you get the kits that I'm sending you, sometimes I'm sending you different colors so that you can see them at home, compare them, because you might not have every color of cardstock. And you might be wondering, like, what does it really look like? Like, you're seeing it online, right? You're seeing it in a video, but to get it at home and look at it in person, totally different. So I wanted to send you some samples of, like, here's some different yellows so that if you have one that you love, you want to buy a pack of it, you know which one you like better than the other. So, and it also works really well on our card. So you're going to take your dies, again, your leaves, you're going to do some Cajun Craze leaves, and you're going to do some Darling Duckling leaves. You're going to have lots of leaves over here. So let's put those on next. So I have them already die cut so that we can put these on here. So here's our Cajun Craze, here's our Darling Duck, and I probably have a dauber or two in here too. Now, I didn't pull out Darling Duck ink because crushed curry ink is going to work really well. So we're just going to use crushed curry ink. It's a darker ink than our duckling yellow here. So it's going to be even a different variation when you're adding just that little bit of ink on here. It makes it look a little bit more like the Cajun color, right? That kind of orange tone is going to come out a little bit more than just yellow on yellow, same colors, right? So it just gives it a little bit more contrast. So these are going to come over here eventually. We're going to set that aside right now, and then we're going to bring in Cajun Craze, and we're going to go ahead and dauber up our Cajun Craze a little bit here, add a little bit of ink on. I am not one to leave cardstock uninked. I love die cutting. I love die cutting shapes and using all the shapes, but please, I have to add ink to it. I have to, it's like the little bit of like homemade touch right there, right? So you can see here where that's going onto our card base. Now let's talk about what we have left over here. We have these two pieces, and we're going to actually cut two of the banner pieces out. So we're going to stamp on the white piece. We're going to do our sentiment in Cajun Craze. And this is Friends Like You Are Golden. And it's going to come over here. And I don't know that I die cut one, so I might have to die cut this one. I don't think I did. I try to prep things as much ahead as I can, but I did not. So we're going to have to die cut this one. So there we go. Friends Like You Are Golden. And, oh, let's see. We're going to look at some comments here for a second. Melissa says her craft room is a disaster. I'm laughing with you. I'm like, I get it. My craft room's always a disaster. That's for sure. Lori says she's not stingy with hers either. That's awesome, Lori. Oh, hey, you know what I could do? I just cleaned my stamp off, but this is what I've got. I've got a die cut banner. Let's just go ahead. This will save me from die cutting. Let's just stamp this right on here, and we can do this because see-through makes everything easier, right? Okay, there we go. Ta-da! Now we're ready. We're cooking now. We got this guy done, and now we're going to do a little bit of stamping here on our yellow. Again, this is crushed curry banner die cut. So let me go ahead and bring in the stars. Do I have the stars over here? I do. So there's a little star stamp that's in this set. And we're going to stamp the edges here. So I'm going to start in the corner. So this kind of corners on its own. This little stars right here. So we're going to stamp right here in the corner. So cute, right? And then we're going to manipulate it. I'm just looking to see how I'm going to come this way. We're going to come down the side. So I just really kind of want the side to be done. But when we get down to the bottom again, I can do another corner. So it kind of comes back up that little banner edge. I mean, super cute, right? We're going to come across this way as well here. Okay, so I'm just doing this much of it. I'm not going to do the rest because I'm going to be covering it up over here. We're not going to see the rest of it. And while I have my dauber and my ink, we're going to add a little bit of color along the top and the side, just like that. There we go. And that is ready to go. Now we can go ahead and finish putting this one together. Move my inks aside. And we're going to go ahead, kind of do the same thing here. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm looking at this. We don't quite have as much room to add that tear and tape to the ends and then hide that. So we're going to just go ahead and we're going to glue this down a little bit. And I'm obviously mixing this up a little because I used the Cajun on the bottom last time and I used the yellow on the top. So let's see how this looks when we're going to mix and match a little bit here. And I think you're probably getting some fall vibes from this one. And that's okay too, like, because there are cards to be made ahead for other seasons. And this is definitely a more masculine color card as well. And I feel like that color palette for our gentlemen is typically those autumnal colors as well. So, okay, so we're just going to pop those on there. I'm going to just press there for a second with my palm, which is not sticky. My fingers are pretty sticky. So if I keep pressing with my fingers, chances are things are going to come flying upwards at me. We're going to put this on with dimensionals. And I'm going to do 5 on this one. So we're just on the crushed curry here. The banner, if I can get, oh, that one's already unstuck. There we go. Yep, we're all good. Here we go. This one's going to come onto our card base. So I do want to cover up the edges of where my leaves are so it doesn't look silly, right? I'm going to put it right about there. I'm leaving a little bit of gray here as well, just for funsies. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put some adhesive kind of in the middle, not all over. And I'm going to layer this on so that we have this edge. And then the corner here is going to be kind of covered over here as well. So they're offset banners. just that much, right? And then there we go, we've got that. We're going to bring in our little bow that we already made and add that in with a glue dot. I'm going to cover my glue up just for a second so it doesn't dry up on me in between here. And we'll bring in a glue dot for our little bow. I'm going to put it right here in the middle where all those little leaves are meeting. Put on a little twisty bow here. And then we're going to add in some neutral colored embellishments. And this is actually one that I showed you earlier, the earthy matte dots. Got some great colors here. So there's some browns here, Lost Lagoon. As mentioned, there's that kind of reddish color that's in here, which I think actually maybe I'll try the red. I tried the red earlier, but I wasn't sure if I liked it. But now we're going to go a little bolder. So we're going to go this way. We'll do the red embellishments on here. It's going to kind of bring in our Cajun Craze color a little bit there as well. And on my first card, I used the more kind of grayish black kind of color embellishment. So there we go. Friends like you are golden. There's card number 2. Super simple card. And if you like something more like this, you're still getting the DSP. You're getting that Nested Essential label. And you're basically just looking for something here that you can put on this side and then add your sentiment in as well. If you're not going to get the exact stamp set. If you have any other banner dies, you can add those in with a different sentiment as well. So there we go. Card number 2, our more masculine card. And we're going to move on to card number 3. Let me move something aside here. We're going to bring in our next card. The next one was my favorite card from the class that we did on Saturday. Move this aside. I love these soft colors. So now we're going to go a little bit soft again. We did some bright pinks, some really cheerful, pretty pinks. We did some very masculine color. Now we're getting kind of more into the neutral colors here. And this is basic beige with petal pink, old olive, crushed curry, because I'm loving crushed curry lately. I don't know why, I'm in a yellow mood. And this is what you're getting. So you're getting a couple of stylish shapes dies. You're getting a circle and a banner. This piece right here is designer series paper. It is embossed with the lovely stripes embossing folder. This is probably my favorite embossing folder right now. Love this one. Using it a lot. It's a very masculine embossing folder, but in this case, it's a very feminine embossing folder. All right, let me find my card base. Okay, card base right here. And we're going to make a really, really pretty card. You're getting some ribbon here as well. So we're going to have all these parts and pieces. And we're going to just kind of start with the bones of this one real quick. I like to just put a couple of things together for you before you're influenced by what goes on the card itself. Because I feel like if I showed you the card first, you'd be like, immediately, I don't like it, or I love it. Like, you have those reactions, right? Everyone does. So if I kind of start playing with the paper a little bit and just showing you possibilities, I feel like it opens up creativity in your mind if you don't know what you're making yet. And that helps you to decide where you might want to take the card. I gotta look at this card for a second. Make sure I don't miss a step. All right, we're gonna just glue these down. So this designer series paper went right onto a white mat of cardstock, and it's coming right here onto our card base. Already it's beautiful. You may be wondering what paper this is, and I'm wondering the same thing. I might have to peek in my book again. Hold please. This one is Lovely Blossoms. This is Lovely Blossoms. This is the paper right here. Glare much right there. And then I've embossed this piece here as well. So there is the Lovely Blossoms designer series paper. That one is so pretty. And again, this piece right here is also from Lovely Blossoms. I just mentioned that. It's going to go onto our petal pink layer here. Now, because this is a really deep embossing folder, and designer series paper is really thin, it almost feels like you could probably either fold this up into a very tiny piece of paper, or it feels like it could rip because it's kind of delicate after going through the embossing. So just be careful with it. I say that, and then like, I'm trying to get this on here and I'm not sure if it's going to stick. So I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to push from the back just in case I'm transferring ink and glue. That does happen. It's a true story. Okay, now that we've got that settled, let's talk a little bit about what my original card looked like that we made in class on Saturday. So here it is, and this, again, one of my favorite, this was probably my favorite card from Saturday's class. Sending Love. We use the, this is from the Fabulous Sayings $5 stamp set from the January product of the month. Don't miss out on that one. And then the circle here, this hello, the flower, this comes from A Round of Hellos. I believe that's what that one's called. And it's right here, actually. I got to show this off because it's really cute. A Round of Hellos. I loved this stamp set. So it has the stamp set that has hello. These are two separate ones. Thank you is not part of this. And then we stamped the this flower right here with this little petal. Just a simple stamp set. It does not go with a bundle. It's just a standalone stamp set. And this is the card that we made. So we're gonna create something similar, but again, different, because we're being creative tonight. We're using Creative Haven. We're changing it up. I'm showing you how you can take any theme, any, you know, kind of similar patterns of paper and colors and just use different products. That is exactly what we're doing. And I'm going to show you what we're making next, because we're going to be putting this one together. And I really love this one too. And I'm hoping you're looking at this and like, oh yeah, look at the difference. I mean, similar and yet so different, right? I actually like the do-over card on this one better than and I love the original. Don't get me wrong. Love the original. But this one, I really, really, really like. Okay, let's finish creating this. I'm going to show you how we're going to create a pattern here with Old Olive ink. And I should probably get all the things we need, because I got to stop looking at the card here. We've got Old Olive, Basic Beige. This is really hard to see these. Basic Beige, Petal Pink. My labels are very light. Old Olive. And we also need Crushed Curry back out, because Crushed Curry was in our previous card, and we're using this one again. I told you I was in a yellow mood, right? Oh, yellow. Okay, so Old Olive. We're bringing in Old Olive. We're doing some tone-on-tone stamping, and you might be thinking, well, what are we going to stamp from this stamp set that's going to create a cute pattern on here? Because everything has words in it. Like, what are we doing, Julie? I got to find it, actually. I'm looking for the one that says Friends Like You, and I did try to clean it. Hopefully I did clean it. I did. Okay. Cleaned it on purpose because I knew I was bringing this one back in. So we're going to focus on the top layer here. I'll show you here. This section right here above Friends, we're focusing on that, and we're going to ink this up over here. Now, if you over ink, that's fine. But when you stamp it, I want you to just stamp just that pattern right there. And we're going to go ahead and do that again, right across. And we're going to just kind of like finish up the row here because we're a little short. So there's the bottom or the top, depending on how you're holding this paper. And now we're going to go this way, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to repeat it just like this. So we're getting that really fun pattern. We're not putting the words on. Looks like my green could use a refill of ink. But you're getting the idea, right? Just like this. Now, it might look a little messy and crazy, but once we get it onto our product here, our finished card. Whoops, no, not that card. This card. I should put this one away. This is the one we did. So you're really only seeing the outside edges, but it is kind of fun to stamp everything. So if you really only want to do the outside edges, I wouldn't blame you. You're like, you know, let's just do that. But sometimes when you're in a stamping mood, you just want to stamp, right? So with that in mind, we're just going to add a little bit of Old Olive ink just to the outer edges, top, bottom side on each one. Yeah, my green needs an ink refill, I think. It's been loved a little bit. I've been re-inking my stamp pads quite a bit lately. It's that dry season. I even get dry in here for sure. Okay, so let's put this aside for just a second. Work on our card a little bit more here. Let's put this over here. And we're going to bring this back in. Nope, this would be our card base. We're going to glue this down. This pretty green paper that we just made. We kind of made our own designer series paper is what we did. We made a nice little pattern on it. We're going to put it across our card base. Right about there. And then we're going to bring this piece in that we've already glued together. And we're going to add this one on right here. Just like that. So pretty, right? All right, we've got this lovely, actually these two pieces right here. Let's work on these next. We're going to bring our stars back in. Still got some yellow here. I got yellow everywhere. How about a baby wipe? So the only time I use baby wipes in my craft room is to clean up my messy stamp pads if I get ink all over them, and to clean up my hands a little bit. Maybe sometimes the block, right? The side of the block, but I don't use them on the stamps themselves because the baby wipe fibers get hung up in the stamp, and then I get fuzzies everywhere, and that just annoys me to no end. So I'm definitely reaching for my chamois when it's time to clean my stamps up. Okay, we're gonna bring in, once again, crushed curry ink, and we're gonna stamp up the corners here of our banner, because we have that cute little kind of notch in here already. We're just taking advantage of that, and we're getting the stars right there in just one fell swoop, and then we're going to repeat it just like that. And now we have, there we go, we have those cute little stars there, and we're going to go ahead and daub them with some crushed curry, which may or may not be somewhere handy for me. Here it is right here. Okay. Because I'm inking everything, I'm actually inking everything. So a little bit here just on the ends. Well, no, maybe we'll go across the whole bottom. I'm looking at it on my card to see like how much of this shows. That's kind of where I'm judging that at. So that's going to come on here really pretty. I love these colors together again. And then we're going to bring in a little bit of basic beige ink, and we're going to just add a little bit to our more daubers. I pulled out more daubers for this class than probably ever in my entire... I should count how many daubers I pulled out, how many times I'm daubing ink onto cardstock tonight. But it is one of my favorite things to do. I feel like it's the easiest technique you can do to take your projects up a couple notches from just die cutting or just stamping. Just add that little bit of extra ink on the edges, and it's just going to make such a nice difference. And it really doesn't take long. It's just seconds, really, of just daubing on a little bit of ink. We're going to bring in more of these lovely dimensionals, and we're going to pop this circle up onto our project. And that's going to come over here, just about right here. And then we're going to add this on down here. But before we do that, let's talk about our leaves, because we do need to die cut again these leaves. Now remember, if you remember, or if you're just tuning in, I love these leaves so much. I've used them on absolutely every project. Every project tonight has these little leaves in them, and of course they're boring and old olive. I mean, it's pretty, but it's kind of boring cardstock. So we're gonna grab in some. I should move out the ones I don't need because I got them everywhere. Here's my old olive one. Okay. And keeping the little sponge daubers kind of contained in those Dixie cups as I'm doing my projects is just really helpful to me too. So they are plastic, and I wipe them out. Oh, that's another reason I use baby wipes. I wipe them out with baby wipes so the ink, you know, kind of makes it messy, as it should. So sometimes they get messy on the inside, and I wipe them out with baby wipes, let them air dry, and I put them in a pile and I use them again. So there's a lot of great reuse on those. And they just are fantastic. I love them. I don't even know how long I've had them. I've had them a very long time. Okay, let's go ahead and add this in with just a little bit of glue here. The old olive and the, that just popped right back off again. Not enough glue. Old olive and basic beige are really gorgeous colors together. Oh my goodness. I think there's more glue on my fingers than there is on my projects tonight. I don't want to add too much glue because then it'll squish off the sides. Okay, now that we're a little bit happier, we're going to go ahead and add in our banner. Down here at the bottom, I'm going to actually put dimensional kind of snug here along the bottom of my circle. Hopefully you can see that. This is going to rest right here, but it's also going to rest along the circle as well. So I can add a little bit of adhesive to the side right here. And then I'm going to bring this in. So it gives me a little bit of play up or down, where I want to go with that little banner right there. There we go. Beautiful. Loving it so far. Hopefully you guys are too. All right, we're going to go ahead and talk now about the label that we're going to be using for this card. So in your kit, that has, you know, like been all, oh, here it is right here in your kit. You have petal pink and you have white cardstock. Now these are cut to work with your 2 tag dies. So the petal pink is going to be the bigger one right here, and then the white is going to be your smaller tag dies. So I've already die cut them, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp these just to make everything quicker for us so that we can continue to put this together, and you can see how lovely it's going to be. So we're going to start with the petal pink tag, petal pink ink, and at the beginning I mentioned that this was my favorite stamp image, my favorite sentiment stamp in here, and it says, "You deserve all the good things," and it's really a cute little font. It's how I wish I could write, if I could write nicely. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of vary how this goes on here, just like that. So you're just going to put it in just kind of like someone was writing a little letter across here. So you can read most of it in some spots, but a lot of the words are just kind of blending together here. And we're using this for the background. I'm going to go ahead, of course, and ink the sides up here too. But this is a really cute little stamp. This is just so delicate. Absolutely adore it. And that's done just like that. Now while this ink is out, we're going to go ahead and stamp "You're the best." You're the best. Now, who wouldn't want to send this card to somebody they love, right? You're the best. This is going to go right here so nicely on the smaller tag die cut. So the stamped sentiments are meant to work with the size dies. Of course, you probably have different sentiments in your craft room that would work here really well too. Oh my goodness, I just flipped that right into my hand. Good thing the baby wipes are handy. Chris loves Chris Curry. That's awesome. Gold. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome, Chris. Okay, so let's talk about how these go together and how awesome they are, because there's little holes in here we can take advantage of a ribbon situation. It's very true. This little ribbon right here is basic beige, and I'm going to kind of fold it in half to start it through just like that. Okay, I'm giving you a good amount of ribbon, so if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. Maybe I might think about how much ribbon I'm giving you, but we're creating a cute little knot here. Hopefully you can see that. It is really sweet. It's something totally different. So here's what I did. First, I just kind of crisscrossed it over like you're tying your shoe, right? You're going to just kind of bring that down. So there's a little knot right here at the top of these 2 holes on the dies. Now this is still loose and it's meant to be. We haven't attached that down yet. We just have a little knot right there. And you're going to come up a little bit, you know, maybe a good 1.5 inches or so. And you're going to bring this around and bring this through. And then you're going to create another knot, but leave a little space. So like you could fit your finger right back through here, right? So just kind of leave that little bit of a space right there. And then like so, right? And you got a lot left over. And I did that on purpose because I don't like working with the tiniest little bit of string and then trying to go like, how in the world am I supposed to get something done with this? You're going to cut some of that away, and you're going to have this cute little situation right here. And we're going to scrunch it a little bit too. So it looks a little bit scrunchy on here. It's really cute. This is going to go on with dimensionals because we all love our dimensionals. So I'm going to pop 4 or so of those on here. I'm hoping you guys are loving the colors of this one. I'm just kidding. This one told me it wanted one more, and I listened. I always listen to my cardstock. And so there we go. Now you could put this on here at an angle if you are an angle person. Maybe you like angles. I'm putting this at the angle. See, again, still loose, still adorable. So I chose to put this one on straight this way. And then I'm actually going to glue this down. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue underneath here. My glue wants to cooperate. It's been drying up on me a little bit. And I'm going to put this on here so that this is a little bit angled. But I still want to see the corner of my circle here. So I try to keep at least a few of my elements showing. This leaf situation could have been a little bit better. It's better on the first one. Now you're maybe wondering, okay, well wait, we still have that crazy ribbon to work with. I was just looking to see if there was a glue dot on that little scrap, but apparently no. We're going to bring in the big roll. Here we go. So we're going to bring in a glue dot, and we're going to put it on our card base, not on the bow. And now we're going to squish this down a little bit, and we're going to tuck that in. And I might trim this up a little bit more too. So this is where you kind of go back and do a little bit more trimming to, you know, to suit. So maybe you want them to go more like that. There you go. So you just kind of squish it down, and it just looks a little bit like it's different from just a regular bow. It's different from a regular knot. It's just really kind of sweet. And we just need some bling, and this card is actually done. So for this one, I brought in the Pearls of Beauty. This is a nice one right here. There is white in this as well. We used the white in my last card class, so most of the white ones are gone, and that's okay. I'm going to use this crumb cake color. This color right here, actually, well, maybe I'll use that color. This would work because this is kind of a Calypso coral, and Calypso and petal, we know they're pretty together. Let's try it and see. I'm a fan of the more neutral embellishments, but I know some of you are going like, no, it's got to have bright blingies. So now it has some bright blingies. Hopefully you guys like the bright blingies. I'd like to know. I always ask your opinions. The bright bling or the neutral bling? I love the neutral. I'm a neutral girl, right? I think this is really pretty and delicate. That's a little bright for me. I'd have to move in some more Calypso to make that happy. I'm probably going to add in later on more green leaves because I feel like I needed to change the orientation of that a little bit. But there it is. It is so lovely. I really do like this card. And again, this is, I'm going to show you the original one more time so you can see where we came from and where we went to. So kind of the same design idea, same concept. We're just changing our elements. So this element got swapped out to be our Creative Haven dies, so we could get those in there. And of course, I really did like the circle in with all these rectangular shapes. So I put a circle in there to also fill the space because this is a little bit smaller. It needed something behind it to just fill some of that space in. And I feel like that worked out really well. So there we go. Card number 3. We got one more card. Now this one, I am so excited about. You guys hold on to your hats. You're going to love this one because I did a do-over card in the craziest way ever. Let me move this out of the way so we can, well, we might be bringing that back in. So this is a do-over card because I had to change up my theme a little bit. So when you change your theme, sometimes you're also changing your designer series paper. So I brought in the purples, Lost Lagoon. So I've got Balmy Blue, Gorgeous Grape, Lost Lagoon, and Highland Heather. I got some white here. You're getting a couple of punched pieces as well in your card kit. The Perennial Lavender DSP. Oh, so pretty. This has little butterflies in it in case you need something springy. This is the Sunflower 3D embossed piece right here, and you're getting a whole bunch of linen thread here as well. I love the Sunflower embossing folder, and I like using it on colors that you would not expect a Sunflower embossing folder to be used on. So just saying. Let me see if I can find my stuff. Oh, please. I gotta bring in the whole box here. As I got a whole box. Okay, first I'm just going to show you the card that we're doing over. So this was similar to last week's class where we used the Sweet Bugs. Was it Sweet Bugs? I think it was Sweet Bugs. Wow, I've already lost track of what the class was called. I know it was sweet, and they were bugs, so we're going to go Sweet Bugs. This is the Sunflower embossing folder. This paper right here, this designer series paper, is from the Easter Joy Pack, so hopefully you can see like kind of the daffodils here behind. We covered up quite a bit of it, but the daffodils are kind of peach pie in nature. So this is some peach pie in here as well, and we used Shy Shamrock because, again, the green from our designer paper indicated that the Shy Shamrock would be the color we would want to use to coordinate. So this was our little bee with the watering can, with a little flower, super cute, the gingham ribbon, all the cute things, right? But I didn't want to use this paper again because, again, I'm choosing to use a completely different bundle. And my last sentiment that I haven't used yet is, you've got this. And I felt like I needed to go something different besides the daffodil paper. And I felt like the lavender paper was a little bit more like, you've got this, right? Like, I care. Lavender's relaxing. Maybe you need to, you're going to make it through. We're going to do this. So I changed my theme quite a bit. Now you're still getting some arches, even though we're going to create an arch with our Creative Haven dies, you're still getting this piece right here. This is the piece that I used for my sentiment. So we basically had two pieces. We kind of layered them together like this. You can see where my sentiment piece came from. But there's going to be a lot of different things going on here because this card, like I said, I did some major changes on it, and I have to say I love it. I think it is so beautiful. All right, so let's bring in the messy mat again because we got to do some inking. Surprise! The first thing we're going to do is we're going to darken down this embossed piece so that we can really see the beautiful embossing that's on it. Now for this card kit, I use Highland Heather, Lost Lagoon, and Balmy Blue. These are kind of like spa colors as well, like really relaxing, pretty colors. We're going to start out with Balmy Blue though, and we're going to bring in our blending brush, and we're going to see the sunflower come to life. I'm going to go ahead and add this on here. And I'm going to do the whole thing just because it's so pretty when you do. I mean, I love this the sunflower embossing folder. And I know that many of you have this, which is awesome. So I'm encouraging you to use it with different colors besides yellow or brown or orangey colors, like things that you think of as sunflowers. I want you to use it up with some different colors. Like how pretty that is. Is that not gorgeous? Oh, gorgeous. Love it. Okay, so we've done that. Let me sneak at my card here real quick before I go too crazy. We're going to go ahead and glue a couple things together. So again, you're thinking about some possibilities. We're bringing in the gorgeous grape cardstock. Let me see if I can get my glue to start cooperating once again. And we're going to put this on kind of in the middle. Now it's going to fit side to side here as well. And if you have a hard time lining that up, if it's the same size as your card base, right, you can kind of use that to help you get that on there. So there we go. Was that not the easiest thing? We're going to glue this on next. This one's going to come right here. So now we're only seeing that pop of purple on the side, but it's very similar to the original card where you only saw the pop of peach pie. I'm going to bring in Saturday's card class card again, so you can see just the pop of that color on the side. This is where the craftiest of you would be like, well, I'm gonna punch out and die cut a whole bunch of things from the middle of this paper before I glue it down because it's going to be hidden, no one will know. And I commend you for that because that is a really great way to stretch your paper for sure. Okay, we're going to do this beautiful designer series paper. We definitely want the lavender flowers facing up. There we go. I think my glue is going to cooperate now. And we're putting this one on a little bit lighter of a paper. This is Highland Heather. So this is a lighter purple tone. And this is going to come across here. So again, this card is going to be arch friendly. We're going to have a lot of arches on it. But I want you to see how beautiful this is. This whole combination. No matter what you did with this from here on out, it's just really pretty. And of course, in your kit, you have these pieces right here. So you could make a really pretty, gorgeous card. Let's move this one aside because you don't want to see that one yet. All right, so we've got these pieces are what's left over. And I'm going to show you your card kit now, or your finished card right now. This is the, wait a minute. This was supposed to say, you've got this. But it doesn't. I changed it up completely. It says, so happy to have you in my life. So look, I took this little stamp and I changed it up. I took my punched sentiment pieces and I changed it up. Now I do have a really cool background here and I'm going to show you how I did that. And we're going to talk about all the rest of these little pieces in your kit. So you do have some that are similar in size. Those two white ones are very similar in size. Just make sure that you have a piece here that you can do your arch die cut. And then the other two, which is Lost Lagoon, by the way, Lost Lagoon in white, right? You're going to do 2 sets of these leaves because I just love the leaves so much. So I did that. And let me grab those out. So here's our leaves for our card right here. Let's just put them over here. That's kind of like a puzzle piece, right? And then we're going to put these aside because we made leaves with those. And this is going to be for a sentiment. And then this is how we're going to do our background here with You've Got This. let's do this. We're gonna have 3 colors of ink, and I'm gonna have them kind of all out at the same time, because this is something that you're gonna do a little bit quicker than not. Do I have an arch? Oh my goodness, I think I stamped, oh well, anyway, we're gonna just do this. I have one stamp, so we're gonna be good there. Balmy Blue. Now, Stampin' Up! Gives you labels on the back of your stamp pads, right? So you're able to label the front because they sit flat and that's how you see them. When they're open on your work surface, there's a well here for you to put another label. So now I know this is Balmy Blue, this is Lost Lagoon, and this is Highland Heather. Now my Highland Heather, the label is really like faded, almost looks gray, which is silly, but that's okay. We've got them all open at the same time. And I'm going to grab out my daubers and line these up as well here. Let's line them up in the right order. We're going to start with the Balmy Blue. And we're going to daub the ink onto our stamp. I'm just making sure I get some good color on here. About 1/3 of the way down in Balmy Blue. So we're done with that one. Now we're moving on to Lost Lagoon. Now Lost Lagoon is going to come middle and it's going to come upward into the Balmy Blue. So there we go. Now we're going to bring in Highland Heather ink, and we're going to start at the bottom of the stamp, and we're going to bring it up into the Lost Lagoon. So we're going to make a kind of that pretty little ombre effect with our ink. So there it is on there. Hopefully you can kind of see it, right? A quick breath on it just to re-moisten it. Not going to take much. And you're going to push this down on here. And you've got this. You've got this. So you've got the 3 different colors kind of coming down through, which is kind of, it is really pretty, but it also is a little bit, this particular image kind of gives me those hippie vibes, you know, kind of old-fashioned image here. But you've got this right here. So if you wanted to put this onto your kit just like this, the arch, actually after you die cut it, which I already have one die cut. Where'd my arch go? It's over here. So you'll die cut the arch just like so. And once it's die cut, it looks like this, right? So you've got your arch here, and it's going to fit. This arch from Creative Haven is working really well with the everyday arches. It doesn't have the stitching on it that the everyday arches has, but they work together really nice to nest. So you could totally put that on there if you prefer, if you like that, if that's something that's like, hey, that's really cool, I like it. Now I played around with this a little bit because I wasn't sure where I was going to go with this at first. I did one in purple, and I did one in Balmy Blue. I thought I'd just try, right? Like, what do I like? What do I like? And I just wasn't happy with, I think what threw me a little bit was the open letters. I just wasn't a fan of those. Now, as mentioned earlier, not everyone loves the stamps, and I totally understand that. You can do some really awesome things with them. They work really well with the dies, but the star of this bundle is the dies. So use whatever you got if you're not a fan of the stamped images. And that is why I decided to use the label and create something completely different. Now we're going to go ahead and keep putting some ink on some things before we put this one together. So here is our Lost Lagoon. I'm going to need to bring this one back in because we're going to darken down our Lost Lagoon leaves here a little bit. Just a little bit before they go on there. And I'm going to share with you how I've got my ribbon tucked in here, my little baker's twine. I'm sorry, linen thread. That is linen thread, not baker's twine. And let's bring in Balmy Blue and our little label. This is the Labeled with Love punch. It kind of looks like a little bit of a ticket, doesn't it? Get like those cute little notches in it. So we're just going to go ahead and add a little bit of the Balmy Blue ink here all the way around the outside, just like that, and that's done. So pretty. Love the blues. All right, now this is going to be the white part of our sentiment here. So happy to have you in my life. Here it is, and we're going to stamp this and ink this up in Highland Heather onto this little label, this white labeled punch piece. And this is coming in your kit. So we're going to stamp this in the middle, but it doesn't have to. I mean, not pertinent, but try to get it straight, because straight would be good. And that's really not quite straight. So we're going to try it again. So my encouragement is, if you do it wrong the first time, flip it over take another crack at it. That one looks better. So two-sided paper is magical like that. You can turn it over, unless it's a die cut. Die cuts are a little bit trickier. Now you're going to see that like this doesn't quite line up like this, so we're going to get fun with scissors. We're just going to come in here and we're going to come straight across. Now you could use your paper trimmer if you're like, I could not possibly. But there it is. So happy to have you in my life. Now the reason I did it on the punch piece is because the size, the width I should say, is the exact size I need to fit onto the balmy blue one. So I know that it is exactly the size that will fit here right across. Look at that. So happy to have you in my life. Now this piece is going to cover over top of our other piece, which is now missing. It's missing in my craft room. I know it's here somewhere, right? It's got to be. Can you guys tell me where it went? Tragedy. Did I put it over here? I did. It's over here. I stacked it up and set it aside. Silly me. Okay, let's go ahead and glue this together. Because I did some trickery here on this one, actually. Let me look at this. Before we glue our items together, what we're going to do is we're going to add in our fun little leafy greenies first. And these are going to get added in on top of the purple Gorgeous Grape die cut arch coming to you, Everyday Arches. And we're going to go ahead and do this with the tear and tape. So just make your selection here of, you know, fun green things coming off the side there. Go ahead and add in your tear and tape. You can be generous here if you want to. I am. All right, we're going to pop off that plasticky layer just like we did earlier as we were doing our cards, and we're layering things with the tear and tape, holding down our floral arranging skilled paper pieces. That was like a Dr. Seuss mouthful. All right, now that we have this on here, isn't that awesome? We're going to glue on this one. So this one's going to go right over top, and it's going to cover up our tape. So you're basically looking to add this on like you were making those matted layers. You're doing it very evenly. So don't really worry about where your greens are. They're going to hang off the side because you made them hang off the side. But we're going to go ahead and do that. Then we're going to add in our tie-dye. Maybe that's where I was trying to go with this. If you guys have already said that in the comments, like, oh, it looks like tie-dye. I did not look at the screen yet. I can't tell what you're saying right now, but maybe your first reaction was it's tie-dye. It's a tie-dye card. Okay, now before we go any farther, we're gonna put our twine on here. You're getting a chunk of twine here. This is 24 inches. This is 2 feet of twine, by the way, coming your way, because I wanted to make a really cool bow. So we're gonna go ahead. You may have noticed I left a really kind of a visible spot there in the middle on purpose because my little bow is going to end up right here. So I'm going to leave enough here to work with, and I'm just going to start wrapping this one. And you should be able to wrap it about 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you come around the 4th time, you should have enough here to create a bow on the side. And if there's not enough for you, then I would say wrap it 3 times, and then you're going to have lots more room to make a bow. This is going to be a tiny bow, by the way. Maybe I need to not wrap it 4 times. I'm pretty sure I cut 24 inches when I did my first one. And I didn't have any left over. Okay, so there we go. We did it. There's a little bow there. And the twine, you can manipulate these if you want to kind of spread them out a little bit for interest, right? So it's got that little spread out there. And now this is going to come over here onto our card with dimensionals. I'm going to pop this one up. Isn't this cute? I love these colors together. I'm going to put 1. We're going to be crazy. Why not, right? This is our last card of the evening. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for liking and loving and sharing the video. It's so much, it's really nice for me to see that after I get done with this class, because then I just feel like you guys really appreciate checking it out and you have enjoyed the class. All right, we're going to do dimensionals one more time, right? I think I did. Yeah, I did them one more time. We're going to pop them on here. And this is going to be kind of like a taller card, but it will fit in your envelope. I know it will. All right, so I've got them top and bottom. So the You've Got This is going to be covered up. And we're just going to see that really cute little, kind of an edge of color here. We've got the blue, the green, the purple, just that little swath of color there along the sides. And then we're going to bring in some embellishments. And for this one, I went pretty simple. I went with white, kind of a classic. This is the Iridescent Pearl Basic Jewels. And I like the white here because it just added that little bit of brightness. And there's quite a bit of white here in this card as well. So I felt like the white pearls were a good choice for this one. So any white embellishment really would look good here too. But I love the white pearls. And there it is. Oh my gosh, card number 4. Now I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit and just make some room here on my mat. So we can take a look at all the cards that we have from the class. And I hope you guys think that this is, I mean, this was my favorite card, but I feel like it was a really good, from the original to the do-over card. I'm going to call this like a do-over card. The Creative Haven card is just so beautiful. And again, it's based on Designer Series paper. The Designer Series paper can really be the heartbeat of your card. That is my thought on that. All right, you're the best. I always like to ask you which card you like the best. So you got to tell me which one's the best. Is the best card the best? Friends Like You. Here's this one right here, a more masculine card. And then we have Deep Breath. So these are the 4 cards from tonight's Creative Haven card class. And when you place your $50 order with me this week in my online store after your coupons before shipping and tax, you are making 1 each of these cards. And of course, you can swap in your own product. You don't have to use the Creative Haven bundle. You're going to see that from watching this class that there was lots and lots and lots of really good items that come to you in your kit. And there we go, just like that. I'm going to turn this way a little bit so that you're not looking at my other camera, which is just right over here over top of my work surface. Okay, so I see some, oh my gosh, hi Anne. I see some new friends here tonight. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much for enjoying this class. All right, so as mentioned at the beginning, Creative Haven bundle is not for everybody. The stamps in it are very specific to the dies, and the dies are so generic. You could use any stamps that you have and create some really beautiful cards. I feel like the dies are a no-brainer. The stamps, get the bundle if you really enjoy them, using them with the dies, if you like the look of them. Check out other cards. There are lots of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators who've been sharing cards with this bundle. I have not really looked at them yet because I try to not look before I design my own. I hate to be influenced by someone else's work. So this hopefully is a little bit unique to me because I do enjoy doing some unique things. And I hope you guys love them too. Please let me know in the comments which one was your favorite card from the class. I always like to know. And to be honest, your color choices might influence my next card class. I'm always trying to design something that I think you'll find pretty too. So there we have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll be sharing pictures of these cards in emails coming forward. This week, we'll be talking a little bit on my Facebook page about these cards as well. And if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I appreciate your time. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. You make me feel super special, and I hope you feel the same. All right, everyone, until next time, stay inspired, create something beautiful, and share the love. Bye, friends.